This technique is called a spinal rub. So you'll be supporting your client's foot and rubbing in that spinal area. So that friction gives some heat to the area and will also increase circulation. The rub can occur anywhere on the foot, and it's a really great way to warm up a client's feet and to keep their feet warm. So for the thumb walking technique, you'll be cupping the client's heel with one hand and applying the technique with the other. So moving up through those 5 zones of the foot. So with the thumb walking technique, you've got these fingers resting upon your client, which just act as leverage. There shouldn't be any pressure on those fingers, so no pressing in there. All the action's happening in the thumb. So don't be applying the pressure directly down on the skin, and don't be lifting the thumb off. The action looks like this. Looks a bit like a caterpillar, taking little nibbles as the thumb moves across. So just millimetre by millimetre. No need to gallop. Right up that first zone of the toes of the foot. Pressure point circles. This is a technique that is normally used when you would feel an isolated spot of tension somewhere on your client's foot. So you support that heel of the client's foot and you apply the pressure point circle with the thumb. So it's a compression technique. So you're pushing in, holding on that point wherever the tension is, and you're rotating on the spot. This is not a moving technique. It is a compression technique in one area, rotating on the spot. Finger and knuckle pressure. This is another technique applied to the foot on isolated spots of tension. So again, you'll be supporting the client's heel and applying the technique in a compressive manner. So you're pushing in. So as you push in and apply that pressure, you hold it on that point of tension and then release. And what that does is it pushes blood out of the area, and then upon release it will encourage blood flow back into that area, increasing circulation in that part of the foot. So this technique will be working on the lymphatic area of the top of the foot, the dorsal aspect of the foot. So you need to stand up for this to apply this technique so you can get to the top of your client's foot. So just introducing the hands, placing them on the client's foot can be just as simple as that. So the area we're working through is the lymphatic area, which is specifically between the big toe and the second toe here. We have the respiratory area a bit further around here. So to have that effect to open and stimulate the lymphatic system, just have that thumb walking technique just between the toes. And just moving down gently until you feel a natural ending where there seems to be a bit more of a bony area here. You'll feel that. So just working down to that point. And you can use both hands to apply this technique. And just working from the big toe out on each of the feet. You can also do this technique at the same time using both feet. Just depends on how much time you have with your client. So that's working the lymphatic system. This technique is the lymph pump. So the way this works is by using 2 hands. So one of your hands makes a soft fist, and that just goes underneath your client's toes on the bottom of their foot. The other hand comes over the top of your client's foot and it makes a C shape like this. And that just sits on top of the client's foot, and it'll be moving just towards that malleolus bone in a motion a bit like this. So together it looks like this. You're pushing in gently with that fist as you move down towards the malleolus there, and relaxing back, and gently again. So this just moves that lymphatic fluid. It's a nice gentle technique. So this technique is working the reproductive area, and that area is found on both of the feet, around the ankle bones here and across the top of the ankle. So it's using a technique like this with some circular motions, and you're just working underneath those ankle bones on the heel of the foot. You'll feel some firm areas and also some soft areas as well. So working firm on the firm areas and just backing off a bit and going softer on those softer areas. So I'll just turn the foot so you can see that a bit better. So just a circular technique here, and you'll be applying this to both feet. And that is the reproductive area. And across the top as well is the reproductive area. So you can work this area by using that window wipe technique. You can do thumb walking along this area as well. Just whatever works with you as you develop your technique. Contraindications for these reproductive areas are if you have a client who's in their first trimester of pregnancy or they have a high risk pregnancy. You want to avoid these areas, the reproductive areas, and don't do any specific work on those areas. That's in both feet. There are endangerment sites for any stage of pregnancy, and these are either side of the lower leg here. So you want to avoid any sort of pressure along here at any stage of the pregnancy. But if you're unsure, just avoid it, that's okay. Otherwise those really light effleurage techniques are okay on those areas, just not specific pressure. So that concludes the zone therapy techniques. Hope you found them enjoyable and easy to follow along with. The only advice I have for you is just to get your hands on as many feet as you can, practice the techniques, have them flowing and feeling really natural for you so you can build your confidence. And when you come to workshop, just be aware that there's no practice for you guys. The practice that you'll need to do in order to achieve your assessment will be what you're doing in your own time now. So that when you come into workshop, we can go straight into the assessment and you can leave with your zone therapy qualification.